Okay, we should be live right now. If this thing is working, then we are live. And we seem to have volume, and we seem to have picture. Hello, everybody. How you doing? Who all's here? Hello, Lester and Jumpin' General and WWJD85. Hello, Redneck Ogre and Figure Six Pack and Beta Ray Bob. And hello, Marianne. Hello, Jonathan and McGlug. And Gray Fox and Low One Botu and Payne's Toy Samples. Hello, Peter Ang. Nice to see you. Thank you all for being here. Hello, Chris Meyer. Yes, it is Tuesday again. I will say a special hello to Marianne, who's in the chat. That's my girlfriend. Hello, Marianne. Thanks for being here. What is up? That's a good question. Hey, Sparkster, how you doing? Hello, Andrew. The guy's so nice they named him twice. Hey, Cyclonus, nice to see you there. It's Chris from Comic Tropes. Always nice to see Chris from Comic Tropes. There's Fire Crotch in the house. You can definitely get some ointment for that. You can get a cream that will help, soothe that, irritation in that region. Check your local pharmacist. Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. It is 7 o'clock on a Tuesday. Therefore, we are here. Let's start. Hello, Matt Rubin. Let's start. Hello, Cy. Let's start. Well, that's a good question. Marianne's thoughts on the Defiant. The Defiant is that big, giant space shuttle thing that I have on the end table over there because I have nowhere else to put it, and it's really huge. It's substantial. Let's start by saying today is Tuesday. Therefore, it is a new Half the Battle from Timmer. His video today is about part 4 of Revenge of Cobra, the miniseries. Hello to Luis. Hello, Luis. How do you do? So make sure you check out Timmer's video. I never miss an episode of Half the Battle. Hello, Rob Vegas. Nice to see you. Our Australian contingent is here. Hello, Tim. Top of the evening to you. Yes, check out Timmer. And in case you missed it, What's on Joe Mind on Friday, they did a top 10 G.I. Joe toys released in 2023. And I did participate in that. I wasn't on the show, but I offered my top 10 list, to their show. You can catch the replay if you didn't catch it live. What's on Joe Mind? That's the one from last Friday, the most recent one. Hey, John Carling, how do you do? Nice to see you there. Yes, Timmer. Timmer has an awesome channel. And I will say Timmer is a really cool guy. He's I've worked with him quite a bit. Behind the scenes, just a really, really nice guy, really good and easy to work with. Yes. I try to never miss an episode of Half the Battle. I also try to never miss an episode of What's on Joe Mind. So make sure you check out What's on Joe Mind on Friday, check it on Friday, but also check out last Friday because that was their top 10 list. The Defiant is a chunk. Yeah, it's a sturdy table, and it has to be. And of course, the Defiant, the complex, is not sitting on its own wheels. This is a fairly well-known flaw in the design. Hey, JLS Comics, how do you do? Nice to see you. Always nice to see JLS Comics here. It's a well-known flaw with the Defiant that the complex, the launcher, the gantry, has wheels, but the wheels are not sturdy enough to hold the weight of the vehicle itself. So under its own weight, it will break. That's a slight design flaw. Probably should have reinforced that just a little bit. But yes, it's over. I can see it over there. It's looming there in the corner. but it's not sitting on its wheels because it would break its wheels. It's not complete. It's close. It's close to complete, but that's a very difficult vehicle to complete. And some folks have donated some parts to that vehicle, for which I'm very grateful. I think that for some of the vehicle shells, I think I might need to start with some better vehicle shells for these parts, so that I could be in a little bit better shape. But I haven't made a lot of progress on the Defiant for a little while, just because it's so expensive to get parts, like ridiculously expensive. I understand why. I'm not really complaining. It's just a fact of collecting and trying to complete that thing. But the Defiant it's a monster. It's a monster. It's far more complex than the USS Flag. The USS Flag is better known. And I think the USS Flag is more of a grail piece for a lot of collectors. But the Defiant, it's not as big, but it has a lot more parts. It's a lot more complex. It's a lot harder to complete. There's just so much to it. It's so intricate. So anyway, yeah, the Defiant is looming in the corner over there. Maybe I should name it Baby, because I've put it in a corner and nobody should do that. Hello, Diecast Nick. How do you do? McL has the same design flaw. Yeah, I get it. I understand. What else is new? Hello, Eric Gollinger. How do you do? And chewing bubblegum. I don't think I said hello to you. Hello to you, and welcome, and thank you for being here. Tiger Force Defiant. You know what, Hasbro, if you're listening, let's face it, they're not listening. But Hasbro, if you're listening, what we really need in the classified series is a classified scale Tiger Force Defiant. Let's get on that. A classified scale Tiger Force Defiant. Target exclusive. You're welcome. Anyway, hey, it's Bart. How do you do? Not nice try, Bart. Not Mad Lib's time yet. But Chris from Comic Tropes, he did make up some other Mad Libs that we can use in the future. So I will save the Mad Libs for a special occasion. We'll use them. Those are fun. They're fun. It's a fun participation thing. Sai says HasLab. Yeah, see what we got the HasLab Hiss tank, and it is like the size of a medium-sized dog. So now just give us a HasLab, not just a regular Defiant. A Tiger Force Defiant. Come on, guys. Come on. Have the courage to give us a Tiger Force Defiant. Hello, Tracy. How do you do? Thanks for being here. Willame Pierre, I apologize. I'm butchering your name. Says, hello from France. Hello, France from the United States. I apologize. I can't speak words very well. I'm from Oklahoma. But welcome anyway, and thank you for being here. Hey, hello, Sergeant Barker. Nice to see you. Bought Crimson Guard version 13 Desert Camo. Hey, that's cool. Crimson Guard. That is... I don't have the classified Crimson Guard yet. That's one that I thought that I would jump on, but I just haven't gotten around to it. But the classified Crimson Guard is a really pretty figure, and we were just mentioning Timur. The Crimson Guard is Timur's favorite figure. So yeah, Crimson Guard, very popular, but there have been some versions of the Crimson Guard that were not Crimson. The Python Patrol Crimson Guard, a notable example. I guess, Crimson, it could be just the name of the unit. They don't have to necessarily wear that red uniform all the time, but that they were introduced as the Crimson Guard wearing crimson uniforms, so it does kind of seem like that's the reason they're called that. But so somebody got the idea of like, okay, we need another version of the Crimson Guard, but let's make him yellow. That's what they will least expect. Night Force or DEF Defiant. Thank you, Comic Tropes. G.I. Joe 300 got in the Guinness World Records for most characters in one page. 312. That's awesome. Thank you, Comic Tropes. I did see that Larry posted that it was in the Guinness World Record. But I wasn't able to see what it got in for. But it got in for the most characters in a page. That's incredible. They did make that one special. That was a special issue because that's supposed to be the final issue of the IDW series. But if you read it, and I'm not going to spoil anything. But it did not end as we expected it to end. So no spoilers. You should go and get it and read it yourself. But issue number 300 is the final G.I. Joe issue for IDW Publishing. It will be moving to a new publisher, and we shall see what happens. Don't want to speculate on what direction they may go, but we do know that they are going in a direction. They're moving. So anyway, yes. So thank you everybody for being here. Hello, Cora de Leon. Does anybody know what happened to Formula XF257? He seems to have disappeared. That's a good question. This is a question that comes up fairly recently. I'm sorry, fairly frequently. But the answer is no. I haven't heard from Kevin Form BX257. To my knowledge, nobody else has heard from Kevin. I do hope he's well, hope he's fine. But yeah, haven't heard a whisper from him in quite a while. And I did reach out to him. I did try to make contact with him, but yeah, I did not hear back. So I don't know what's going on. But I hope he's well, whatever he's doing. I hope he's all right. If anything happened, I hope somebody would, just tell us, because we do care. He was a very, very important part of our community for a very long time. We care about Kevin, but we haven't heard from him in quite a while, and we haven't had any news. It's been at least a couple of years since we've had any news, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, it's a good question, but the answer is I don't know. No, I've not heard anything. There is one other thing. I guess there's one. It's not much of a news thing, but Joe Fest 2023 in Augusta, Georgia, in June. I should be there. They just posted on their social medias that they have some T-shirts available. I went ahead and ordered T-shirts for Joe Fest 2023. So if you can make it to Joe Fest, to Augusta in June 2023, I should hopefully see you there. This time around, I'm not going to get a table, because I want the freedom to move around. I moved around quite a bit when I had the table, but you're not really supposed to do that. You're supposed to stay at your table. But I want the freedom to go. You just go to all the panels and just go see people. So no table this time, but I will be there. My girlfriend Marianne is supposed to be coming with me, so you should be able to meet her. And it should be fun. Oh, and Bart says he should be at Joe Fest. That's fantastic. It's always a party when Bart shows up. In fact, I don't think it counts as Joe Fest if Bart doesn't show up. Bart doesn't show up, they have to cancel Joe Fest. Well, I should have a travel partner with me, but I don't think my daughter's gonna go. I don't think Audrey's gonna go. Audrey wanted to go last year, 2022, and she did go, and she it complained a lot. She didn't want to participate in anything, but she just wanted to go. So I don't know that she'll go this time, but I should also have a travel partner. Hello, JoeFan84. Nice to see you. Hey, JoeFan84 is going to JoeFest. JoeFan going to JoeFest. That's a really good idea. JLS says, I watched the episode where they refer to Form BX257 the other day and thought of him. Yes, Kevin got his YouTube handle from, I believe it was episode 1 of the G.I. Joe animated series from 1983. There's a line in there, and then, that's where he got his nickname. So yeah, no, I do think of Kevin a bit too, because, I still run across his videos. He's been in a lot of my videos. So he comes up, and, I think, what's happened to him, I hope he's okay. But Marianne says she'll participate in anything. Yes. Marianne will participate in everything. That's awesome. The orgy is on. JoeFest orgy. Here we go. I really shouldn't say stuff like that. This is supposed to be a family show. Everybody, if you have kids watching, plug their ears. Hey, White Vegeta. Speaking of JoeFest, guy I met at JoeFest last year. I have a friend in Oklahoma that's looking to go to JoeFest as well. That's awesome. I also am a friend in Oklahoma that's looking to go to JoeFest. Hey, it's Chrissy. How do you do? So we got Chris, we got Comic Tropes, and we got Chrissy in here. Thanks for being here. We got a pretty cool crowd here tonight, and that's really great. It's nice to have a cool crowd when I have absolutely nothing planned. Look, I've already talked about all the topics that I have. I got no other topics. The only other topic I can think of, is I got another email saying the HasLab Sky Striker will ship soon. They've told me that 3 times now. They sent an email that says that HasLab Sky Striker is gonna ship soon. It's gonna ship soon. We're warning you. Here it comes. I'm gonna count to 3, and we're gonna ship that HasLab Sky Striker. 1, 2, 2.5, 2 3/4. We're about to ship it now. We're about to ship that Sky Striker. They haven't shipped it yet. Hey, Cobra Island, how do you do? Yes, Augusta does have a good pizza place. We did discover that. They do have some good pizza there. Yeah, we'll have to hit that place up again. I really like that. That was really good. Has crabs. Jeffrey's giving us a topic: Cloudburst. Cloudburst. I do have that figure. What an unusual figure. I haven't reviewed it yet. Do I have the glider they came with? I don't remember. I don't remember if I have everything, but I do have the figure, and it's interesting. It's an interesting figure. White Vegeta says lots of classifieds showing up at Target. I've kind of checked Target. It's actually been a long time since I've been to Target. The last few times I went to Target, the last time I went to Target, they still had Snake Eyes movie figures, and it's been like more than a year since those should have been off the pegs. But I'll check Target. I haven't checked Target in a while. I do collect classified. I'm not a completist when it comes to classified. I get what I can, but if it's just impossible to get, I'll let it go. Serpentor, classified Serpentor, I did order it, but it sold out before I could get in on the first round of ordering, so I got in on the second round when they made more available. So I did order it, but I don't have it yet. A lot of people have already got theirs. So a ton of people have their Serpentors. I do not. I will get one. It is ordered, but yeah. Comic Trope says, yesterday saw Tiger Force Duke and the Ram at Target. I would like to see that because That's one that I wouldn't mind paying. Oh, thank you, JoeFan84, for the super chat. Hope to meet you there. Mr. S is coming. All right, Mr. S. That's awesome. Hope he doesn't get bored. Do you know what figure they're going to give out with the tickets by any chance? I don't know yet. I will try to find out by the next show so I can get some information if they've announced it yet. I'm not really sure. So the answer is I don't know. But check the website. I think it's joefestusa.com. I think that's it. But at any rate, yes, I will be an attendee at the show. And there are some good things about having a table. Like it means I have a home base, and people, if they want to come and find me, they can come and find me. But it's very limiting. Let's see. Oh, the 3-0 roadblock. Nice, but reuses the Storm Shadow arms. Too skinny. Yeah, that roadblock and Storm Shadow should have different size arms. Even if Storm Shadow works out a lot, it's just genetics. I mean, roadblock is just a bigger dude. So yeah, you're reusing the same arms. The 3-0 roadblock is kind of a premium figure, isn't it? So that's interesting. Anyway, yes. Let's see. Sparkster says hoping this year to build a Rattler out of Lego. So yeah. Now don't forget they did make that. The Lego knockoffs, I don't have it up here, but they did make the Lego knockoff Cobra Rattler. Here's what you should do. Is get the knockoff Lego Cobra Rattler in the box, and then build your own legitimate Lego Cobra Rattler, and then take the knockoff one, put it together, put them side by side, and see how much yours will be better than the one that they issued. So because yours definitely will be better. It's just a question of how much better it will be. Let's see. Raymond says lots of classified showing up at Toys R Us. Oh, yes, in Canada. Yeah, unfortunately, the country I live in is kind of a backwater, and we don't have Toys R Us here. We don't have these modern things that you have up there in Canada. We are sans Toys R Us. But I hear you guys do nice Toys R Us up there. Two things that Canada does pretty well: Toys R Us and poutine. Yay, Canada! Wait, did Canadians salute like? Oh, Canada! Toys R Us and Macy's in the U.S. Isn't it like a? It's not like a. No, I saw a report about that. It's not like a store, but isn't it like a department or a section of the store, something like that. At any rate, I haven't been to one yet. I am curious. Yeah, if Toys R Us is back in the USSR, back in the USSA, they're not around here. They're not around here. In fact, this general area, it can be quite a challenge to get vintage toys. We've got some vintage toy dealers here. We do, but it's a little bit of a challenge. Toy collecting in this area can be a bit of a challenge. Bart says Toys R Us is a dirty corner with toddler toys. That's kind of what I was envisioning. But I haven't seen it, right? I should see it for myself. Hello, Photo Viper. How do you do? Yeah, a section inside Macy's department store. That's what I thought, Matt. That's what I understood that it was. but I haven't seen one. So yeah, but I should. Joe Fan says, I'm in the middle of nowhere. We have a Walmart that closes at 9. That's funny. Macy's purchased by Disney. Wow, that's interesting. Disney's just buying everything, aren't they? Bart says they have a Macy's Toys R Us there. We don't have one here, first of all. But I have traveled. I did actually extensive travel in 2022. But in my travels, it just never occurred to me to go in a Macy's, so I just haven't been. Anyway, what was I saying? Marianne says check my P.O. Box Friday. Okay, if you don't get it before then, okay, thank you. I will check. Thank you. Thanks for the warning. Oh, thank you for the super chat, Rob Vegas. Put this into the Rob Vegas Augusta beer budget. Absolutely. Yeah. Although I'm not drinking anymore, I don't drink alcohol anymore. That doesn't stop me from going around with everybody, to the bars and to the places in town, because there's plenty to do. So yes, I'm still putting peanuts in Pepsi. I haven't done that for a bit, but I do still like to do it. I just don't happen to have any peanuts on me right now. But yes, peanuts in Pepsi. It's a local delicacy, passed down from the ancient tribesmen who lived here long before Europeans settled. They were putting peanuts in their Pepsi. Low One Bo 2 doesn't drink either, so that's cool. And there's plenty to do. But yeah, just because I don't drink beer doesn't mean I can't be around it. I don't have any problem being around other people having alcohol, so I'm happy to go. To go to the places, after the show, go out and hang out with everybody. Very happy to do that. Hello, Elk Hills. How are y'all? Y'all are fine, and I hope y'all are doing well too. Marianne says, lived here my entire life, but never heard of peanuts in Pepsi. Well, it is an old Native American tradition from the Peanut Tribe, the Peanut Gallery. Back in the 1600s, they started putting peanuts in their Pepsi until the Europeans arrived and wiped them all out with scurvy. Yes, peanuts and Pepsi. Trust me, it's not bad. It's the sweet and the salty together. It's a good mix. It's a good mix. You may not think so, but I'm telling you. Now milk and Pepsi is disgusting. Disgusting idea. You're a bunch of disgusting people, and I'm closing the show down. Show's over. Goodbye, everybody. I'm kidding. I'm back. But yes, peanuts and Pepsi. See, it's the saltiness and the sweet together. It's good. It's good. Marianne says, heard of it but never done it. I know it's scary. It's an exotic food choice. It's a local delicacy. It is perhaps an acquired taste, but milk and Pepsi taste like root beer. I would think that milk and Pepsi would taste kind of like a melted ice cream float. Like if you had the ice cream, but the ice cream just all melted into your soda. That's what I'm imagining. How did we get off on? We were supposed to be talking about G.I. Joe. What we were talking? Joe Fest. Joe Fest. It's coming up in June. I think it was June 9th through the 11th. Why don't I remember these things? June 9th through the 11th in Augusta, Georgia. and I hope many people will join us there. It should be fun. I have fun every time I go. I really do. It's a chance to catch up with people, to meet new friends, to catch up with old friends. Which nuts do I use in Pepsi? I use these nuts. Poutine and grape soda. That's for that's for the Dreadnoks, but it's the Canadian Dreadnoks. It's for the Canadian Dreadnoks. But it's they use the French pronunciation of Dreadnose. It's the French, the Dreadnose, that have the poutine and grape soda. What are we doing, guys? This show is supposed to be about G.I. Joe. It's just been one tangent after another. This is why I need to have topics. This is why it's dangerous for me to not have topics when I start this show. I did not have a chance to make it to my post office box, so I've got nothing to open, nothing to show you. No unboxing. I wasn't prepared to do a Mad Libs. I didn't get anything. I got nothing ready. The Blue Libra says we're making a point about why you were interested in Tiger Force Duke with Ram. By the way, thanks for highlighting my previous... okay, cool. Thank you, the Blue Libra, and thank you, Marianne. I will... the Prophet Director. Hello, the Prophet Director. You're quite the pimp daddy, Prophet Director. And did I say hello to Raymond? Hello, Raymond, if I didn't. Breath mint or candy mint? Breath mint. No, candy mint. Just mint. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yes. Before I was interrupted by about 20 different tangents, I was saying that Tiger Force Duke and the Ram, the set, the classified set, the reason I'm interested in it is because... Hasbro has gone to the plastic-free packaging. Okay, so instead of having a clear plastic window pane showing the figure and vehicle, they have all artwork. Well, for vintage fans, for vehicles, we are used to having our artwork of the vehicle, artwork on the front. So I think that the Duke and Ram set will feel the most like a vintage boxed vehicle. That's what I think. And I'd like to see it. I'd like to get my hands on it. I'd like to see it, touch it, take a look at it. Because I have a feeling that there's, even though it's new, there's going to be a little bit of nostalgia. It's different for, like, figures. Figures... Usually we can see the figure. Usually there's a plastic bubble or a plastic window pane to see the figure. But vehicles have always been in boxes with art. So to me that just makes a lot of sense. With the figures, since you are using all that real estate on the box for artwork, whether the box looks good or not depends on the artwork. And some classified G.I. Joe artwork I do like. Some of it I don't like so much. So if it is some artwork that I'm not as fond of, then that's a lot of real estate on that box with art that I don't love. But the flip side is that if it's good, if the box art is good, then it's better to have even more of it. That's great. But it's a catch-22, right? It's you're losing the window pane to see the toy itself, to actually see the physical toy. And what you're getting for sacrificing that is potentially more good artwork, but also potentially some not so good artwork. So that's a trade-off. But anyway, yeah, I'm very curious about it. I'm very curious. Comatrope says my target had about 6 of the Duke Rams. Oh yeah. Oh, by the by, yeah, a lot of the art is not good. There is some of the classified art that I really like a lot, but there's others that I'm not so fond of. Marianne and I were at Walmart a few days ago, and as usual, I swing through the toy section because I enjoy being disappointed. Like, I just, I was like, man, I just don't feel disappointed enough. So let's go to the toy section so that I can be even more disappointed than usual. And they still had the same junk that they've had for a while. However, they did have 2 Crocmasters. They had 2 Crocmasters. Those are nice. Crocmaster is one of the best figures that they've done in the classified line. I don't need it. I already have one, so I'm not going to buy one. I already have one. But it's nice to see it. It's nice to see it. And that's one that... and the box is attractive. It does still have the plastic on it. It's got the plastic window pane, so it's not the plasticless package. But the art that is on it is nice. The figure is nice. The big crocodile that comes with the figure is amazing. And Crocmaster is a silly figure. It's the figure is ridiculous. It's weird. But I cannot deny that the classified version of Crocmaster is a really well done figure. Amazing detail. Just amazing. Just amazing. Raymond says, Canadian Walmarts suck at carrying Joes. Apparently, you just got to check at Canadian Toys R Us. That's what the scuttlebutt is. That's what the word on the street is check at Canadian Toys R Us. Apparently, they have something. Hello, Draws. I don't think I said hello to Draws. Let's see. What would be the hardest G.I. Joe vehicle to do in a HasLab? Like the Sky Striker, that is not the Flash. The hardest G.I. Joe vehicle to do in a HasLab. That's an interesting question because usually it's like people ask what vehicles would be best to do, that they want to do as a HasLab. And you're asking what's the hardest to do? What's the hardest? I think one of the hardest to do would probably be the Killer Whale. The Killer Whale at the classified scale would be enormous, but I would love it. That's one where even at the ridiculous price point that it would be for the classified scale a Killer Whale, I love that vehicle enough that I would still be tempted to get it. See, Elk Hills is thinking the same way that I am. Like, if they actually did a HasLab classified Killer Whale, it would be so... You'd have to... It'd be like buying a car, right? You'd have to take out a loan. It'd be ridiculously expensive. Most of us could not even come close to affording it. If you consider, like, how much his tank cost, and it would be several times that size. There's no way they'd ever do it. But even at that, I love the Killer Whale so much, I would still be tempted. I might have to sell a kidney, but I would still be tempted. JLS has classified general vehicle. Oh my goodness. A classified general. Have you seen that thing? All right, the general, in the vintage one, in the 1/18 scale, is almost the size of this table. And then take it up to the classified scale, and like it'll be like the size of my coffee table, like wide. It's a very wide vehicle, very wide, and it comes with like a sub vehicle. It's got the Locust helicopter that lands on the top. I guess you could think of the General as like a mobile helipad with a bunch of guns. Mobile helipad with a bunch of guns. That's the General. Very large. Very, very large. Profit Director says the HasLab would be like $1,000. Yeah, at least $1,000. So that's why they would never do it. Never do it. But I would still be tempted. That's what I'm saying. That would tempt me to make some very unwise life choices for what is essentially a hunk of plastic. But I would covet that hunk of plastic. I might just need it anyway. You know? So like when I'm homeless on the streets, at least I'll be carrying that giant killer whale around with me. It'll be big enough I can live in that. I can just live in that. I mean, the classified killer whale, it'd be big enough. I'll just live in there. And if you look at it that way, then a classified killer whale is a bargain. It's expensive as a toy, but as a home to live in, that's a pretty good deal. That's a pretty good deal. That's not bad. So invest in your future and pick up a HasLab killer whale. Comic Trope says worst vintage vehicle. I still think the Cobra Rat is the worst turd that I've seen. You might say something like the Road Toad, and that's that thing that's well, the Road Toad. I mean, it's kind of silly, kind of useless, but the Cobra Rat is the most half-assed vehicle that I think they've ever done. The most half-assed. It's not even complete. Yeah, you know, I got one. I got a boxed one. I got a sealed boxed Cobra Rat. I opened it. I assembled it on camera. And when I took the thing out of the box, I thought half of it was missing. I thought this can't be the whole thing. But it was. That was the whole thing. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Rob Vegas says it's awful, but I love it. The Coastal Defender. The Coastal Defender. See, I suppose a lot of people would scoff at the Coastal Defender, but the Coastal Defender was a low price point vehicle. It had some features, right? Because it unfolded, right? It unfolded, so it had some features, you know. At least it was a complete vehicle, unlike the Cobra Rat. Yeah, Draws says Cobra Rat feels like half a toy. Yeah, the Cobra Rat is, you know, it. The figure 6-pack, the tank car. Yeah, if you're not familiar with the tank car, you should check out a picture of that. Okay, the tank car. That's kind of a. The tank car should have been a sub vehicle for a larger vehicle, because you think about it, like talking about the killer whale. The killer whale had that tiny little motorcycle that came with it, right? It had the tiny little motorcycle. So you could do a half-ass vehicle that's a sub-vehicle for something larger, and that's all right. Bart loves the Coastal Defender. He has like 5 of them. But Bart, can you live in the Coastal Defender? You know, if you get kicked out of your home, can you live in it? I think not. But a classified killer whale, it should float, right? Therefore, it's a houseboat. We got water. You know, I'll just set it out on the water, jump in, and I'll live out there. I'll fish for food. I'll be fine. Deshay Gaming Comics says, thoughts on the future of G.I. Joe comics. That's a good question. We did touch on that a little bit earlier. It was mentioned that G.I. Joe number 300 is in the Guinness Book of World Records. I don't want to spoil G.I. Joe number 300. It's a special issue. I do want people to go out and get it and read it. But if I had to guess, the future of G.I. Joe comics will have two distinct series. Two distinct series, kind of like how IDW tried to do it. But I think it might be done better by the new publisher. We'll see. But I think we're going to have two G.I. Joes. One that draws upon the history that we all know and love. And then a new one for a new era. And I think that's fine. I do think there needs to be a G.I. Joe for the new era. But I also don't think that they should get rid of the what we have. Right? Because there is still a fan base that's interested. Jared says, G.I. Joe APC, I would rather have the Action Force version. Yes, the Action Force version of the APC is amazing. I don't have it, but I have seen it, and it's amazing. It really, like, beefs up the APC. Thank you for the Super Chat, Dave. Classified Stellar Stiletto. Comic Tropes, I'm sorry I missed your question earlier. How many roving G.I. Joe bases did G.I. Joe have? They had the Mobile Command Center. They had the General. You could call the Rolling Thunder a mobile base. It kind of was. It was really big anyway. They had what was I thinking? I was just thinking of it. The Mobile Battle Bunker is kind of a mobile base. That's just the vintage era. I know, like, I think it was in the Rise of Cobra line, they had the Pit, which was a mobile base. The Future Fortress, Jeffrey, that's an interesting point. The Future Fortress, as a fortress, is not itself supposed to be mobile once it's together, but it's made up of a bunch of mobile vehicles. So does that therefore make it a mobile base? The Ford America, yes, thank you very much. That one had slipped on mine. Ford America, that's another one. G.I. Joe liked their mobile bases. I mean, they needed bases, right? But they also wanted a change of scenery. So, if they got tired of the base, here, they just moved the base over there. It's like MASH. And the M stands for mobile. So we're moving. That's how we keep the enemy on their toes. That's how we confuse the enemy. They make their plans like, here is G.I. Joe headquarters. We're gonna attack there. Little do they know that next Monday, G.I. Joe headquarters is going to be moved 3 blocks down the street. And therefore their plans are all ruined. That's why we have the mobile bases. The Cobra Bug is it's definitely sort of base-like, but it's built as like an underwater tank or a submarine tank, something along those lines. The Cobra Bug, it's definitely more of a vehicle than a base, but it has some base-like features. It has sub-vehicles that come off of it, but I always think of the Cobra Bug as really kind of a big submarine. Raymond says, can we start a petition for more O-rings? Yes! Start a petition for more O-rings. Speaking of the Sky Striker, which I mentioned earlier, the Sky Striker is going to include several O-ring figures, several new O-ring figures. And that's kind of a big deal. I'm looking forward to the figures almost as much as I'm looking forward to the vehicle. I'm very interested, very curious. And my understanding is that the figures are carded, which means to do a proper review, I'm going to have to take them off the card. I will not be able to leave them carded. HasLab classified Subma Chopper. That's awesome. The tactical battle platform could be airlifted, but never dare try. Don't want to drop it and you bust the thing. Yeah. The transportable tactical battle platform, the first T is for transportable. So that makes it mobile. So I think that counts. The USS Flag is kind of like a base at sea, and it's you can pretend to be mobile. I don't know if you ever try to move the flag around. It's not so easy. There have been several people, including our friends G.I. Joburg, who built bases for the flag to set upon. So you could do something like that. But yeah, kind of. Comic Trope says, any rough guess on when you do a review? No rush, just curious. Okay. And hello, Justin. Nice to see you. I didn't see you come in, but hello. Thank you very much for being here. I do have a little bit of news on that. Okay. So I started writing the script for a review this week, and until I ran into the realization that the vehicle that I was going to review is missing a part. So that's unfortunate. So I scrambled to eBay to see if this is something that I could just quickie order. Just order the part. But no, nobody has it. Oh, thank you, Dave, for the super chat. So the only rumor O-ring figures other than the ones with the Sky Strikers could be Zartan and Zarana with the Soundwave Thunder Machine. Yes, the G.I. Joe Transformers crossovers have had O-ring figures. They've done the Baroness and Stalker. And the rumor is there's going to be a Soundwave Thunder Machine with Zartan and Zarana. So those could be new O-rings coming in the not too distant future. So anyway, I was writing the script for a review. I discovered I was missing a part. I tried to order the part. I can't get it. Nobody has it. I can't even get an incomplete vehicle with that part. And the chances of me finding that part locally here somewhere is, well, that's impossible. So I switched to plan B, which was to review a figure. So I put that script on hold, shifted focus to a figure review, and so I'm getting everything ready for the figure review, and so I go to grab the file card, and I can't find it. So I went through every file card I have 4 times, looking for this silly thing, and reached the realization that apparently I never had the file card. I thought I had the file card. I have almost every file card, at least through the 80s, and a lot of them into the 90s too. So I should have this one. So I was like, have I gone all of this time not having this file card? That's very possible. That's possible because I wouldn't have bought the file card because I would have assumed I already had it. So that one's on hold. I did order the file card. So the plan was to record a review this week and get it up for this Sunday. But it's going to be slightly delayed. But we're getting there. We're getting there. Sparkster says, I have a toy show coming up in March. I can look for the part if you'd like. I'll try to reach you, Sparkster, and let you know what the part is. I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to tell everybody what it is because I'm trying not to spoil what future reviews will be. If you can find the part, though, that would be somewhat miraculous because it's a fairly rare part. But I would enlist the help. That's yeah. File cards, Rob says. File cards. This is one. When I actually get the review done and you see the figure that I'm going to review, you'll be surprised that I didn't have the file card. I'm surprised that I didn't have the file card. I'm a little frustrated with myself for not knowing that I had the file card. This is the problem with relying on my memory for anything. You cannot rely on my memory for anything, okay? This is why I write things down. But, okay, years ago, I tried to keep track of my collection on a spreadsheet. But at that time, the collection was growing so fast that I just couldn't keep up the spreadsheet. It was just too much. I had stuff coming in all the time. So I ended up trying to rely on my memory for what I had. And there are some things I know I don't have, right? I know I don't have the General. There are some 90s vehicles. I know I don't have them. But there are things that I really could swear that I had in my collection. And when I look for them, it's like, nope, I guess you dreamed that. Or there are some things that I did have them, but I either gave them away or sold them a long, long time ago. This is why I don't... the Blizzard... the Blizzard... WWJD says, do you own Blizzard? I have Blizzard. I think almost complete. I've got to check to see what's missing. But I think I have Blizzard almost complete. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I don't know what the short thing is. I don't know what I have and what I don't have. I'm a little frustrated with myself. I should have known this. But yeah, the cat on the screen. The cats on the screen help the algorithm. This will get 1 million views now. This will get 1 million views. Hello, buddy. Hi. He's been Mr. Destructive today. Yes, he has. Yeah. So anyway, Gamer Dude says, okay, we'll check that. I'm sorry, I missed some of the chat, didn't I? I apologize. Gamer Dude was asking Sparks. I'm sorry. I've cut into somebody else's conversation. My apologies. Famed Toy Hunter's Luck nailed me most of the loose parts I needed for my G1 Transformers. That's possible. Hey, you probably have better luck than me. And again, I'm not trying to spoil anything that's coming up, but the vehicle that I was going to review, the fact that part was missing would not be obvious. So it's like it wouldn't be obvious, right? The vehicle looks complete without it, is what I'm saying. The vehicle looks fine without it. So unless you're looking for it, it wouldn't occur to you that, oh, hang on, there's something missing there. Which is why I was typing the freaking script for it before I realized that it was missing something. What's the best deal you ever got on a figure or a vehicle? I got a Yellowneck Serpentor for like $4. I got a Sears exclusive Vamp from the Vamp Hal 2-pack for, I don't remember exactly how much, but it was priced as a regular Vamp. It was priced like a regular retail Vamp. And I picked it up, and it's not just a regular retail Vamp. It was the Sears exclusive. I still have that one. But yes, that Yellowhead or Yellowneck Serpentor was a nice deal. Sometimes you run across these deals, the seller doesn't know what they have, and probably they don't care what they have because they're not a collector. They're like, here, just take this stuff here. And, $4 for the Yellowneck Snake Serpentor variant. That's probably the best deal that I've got. I think that's a pretty good deal. Now I've got some stuff that doesn't count. Like, getting stuff for free is not a deal, right? Like my 1964 GI Joe Action Soldier, that was given to me. I didn't make a deal on that. That doesn't count. I have to at least have paid something for it to be a deal. But yeah, I got a fairly rare variant. Justin says, how about the maggot and worm? I do have the maggot and the worm, and I even have the worm with the antenna. So yes, that one I got. Which decals will you use on your HasLab Sky Striker? I think I'm going to use the standard one, because I want to compare and contrast the HasLab Sky Striker with the vintage Sky Striker. So in order to compare apples to apples, I want to use the decal set that is closest to the vintage. So that's my plan. That's my plan. It is nice to have options, though. Peter says, ever think of doing a G.I. Joe iceberg tier list? I have thought of that. In fact, I started writing one a while back, but I never finished it. For those of you that don't know, there are these things that people have been doing, these iceberg tier lists, and I don't think anyone has done one for G.I. Joe. At least I haven't seen it. So that actually is something that I had thought of, and I had tried to put together a script for it, but it just hadn't quite. I didn't have enough. And I haven't really had the chance to go back and look at it. White Vegeta says, picked up a 90s lot, mostly Mega Marines and Eco Warriors. Wow. That had Rampage and Create a Cobra hidden in the mix. Wow, that's a good deal. That's a really good deal. To get like just a lot. It's probably hard to do now, but years ago, you could get like figure and vehicle lots, just buy a bunch of them, and you could get little gems like that in it. It's probably harder to do now because people are looking out for things, and most of this stuff is in the hands of collectors now who know what they have. So it's probably harder to find those hidden gems now, but especially, a few years ago, you could do that. You could buy a lot, of figures, just buy a bunch of them, and then find something cool and rare within that. I've done that a few times, and that's always really cool. Johnny says, as a kid, I managed to lose everybody's clear visor and antenna. Only antenna I didn't lose was the Cobra Law Royal Guard dude. Yeah, and that's funny because that antenna is easily lost. Yeah, antennae and visors and those things, those tend to be the most missing stuff, the frequently missing stuff. And the microphones, if there was a figure that came with a plug-in microphone, that's probably gone. So hard top and heavy metal and lift ticket. Why couldn't they just glue those microphones in? Just glue the microphones in. So yeah, those tend to be very, very difficult to find. Draw says, I remember when you could find loose figures at the Goodwill in my area. And yeah, you could get lucky like that. I suppose some people still do get lucky. They're still out there. The stuff is still out there, but it's definitely harder to find now. Oh my goodness, it's 8 o'clock. By my time, it is 8 o'clock. I do need to wrap up the show. I've got some things to do. I'd like to work on that script a little bit more while I wait for the file card to get here. But yes, thank you everybody for coming. It actually went really fast. That was a really fast hour. It was really nice talking to everybody. I really appreciate it. I want to thank everybody in particular who has stuck with me on the Patreon, even though I haven't had a lot of content lately. You guys have helped more than you know, and I appreciate it a great deal. There will be more coming. I'm working on it, but the help is greatly, greatly appreciated, and I thank you. So, thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here. We will do this again next week, and hopefully, in the very near future, I will have an actual fully edited review. I need to get a fully edited review done and ready, and then I need to get back in the routine of doing fully edited reviews. It's been a little while since I've done it. It's not the routine anymore. I want to get back in that routine, but we're working on it. So thank you. Good night, everyone. And I will see you next week. See you next week.